had two concepts. One's called Another...
I heard of that, actually.
One's called Another Planet, which is a chat-com. So it's not a chat show, it's not a sitcom, it's both mixed together. So in the middle of the situation comedy, a guest artist may come in and they might have the mickey taken out of them a little bit, and then they get to do a few of their songs. So always a musical element, you know, but it's sort of just mishmashing the genres together. And I'm sure you know, we're still experimenting with the format.
Yes,
You know.
I'm aware of that, yes. So, talking about the artist, new artist,
Yeah.
you know, unknown artist.
Something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, you want to promote.
Yeah,
where
definitely.
you find the artists and how you approach them?
London Greek Radio are helping me at the moment because we've got a competition whereby various recording studios send the tracks in and then we judge them on air with a view to putting them in a final in the very near future. But also, I have a constant stream of people. It used to be CDs in the post, but now, obviously, if people can look me up on the World Wide Web, and they just send me a series of MP3s and things that I can download. I do answer every single piece of mail that I get, and the only kind of criticism that I will ever offer would be of a constructive nature. People have helped me, and I hope I'm giving something back.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
In your life, you know, I mean, it's been a very interesting life, and you did so many things, and you're involved in so many exciting things.
Yeah.
Are there any lows and highs?
Oh yes, absolutely. Everybody knows that thing when you've come off a tour, and then everyone's been sat twiddling their thumbs. I know I have, you know. I went on such a roll in the 90s, right? And then when the whole vinyl, the whole physical release thing started to go out the window, I felt part of me was dying. And I didn't adapt to the digital world at all. And I went into my garage one day and I thought, I've got all that catalogue and all these labels are going digital now. I didn't understand digital. And with this psychological suffering, my business suffered. And then one day, I was sat there and I thought, you know, I've got to go and learn about digital. Somebody had introduced me to a label that had wanted to work with me for a good year or so. And I thought, well, I'm going to dust myself down. And actually, you know what? When I was running a physical record label, I could only put out one album a month. That's 12 a year. As I mentioned to you before, I've put out 165 this year because you upload them. The digital streaming and the marketing is much more instant. I work with a vibrant team of people, and I now find, even though I'm nostalgic about looking at a beautiful album sleeve, the practicalities of digital has completely won me over, both in a recording environment and in the actual release process of a record. So they're not even called records anymore. In fact, some people don't even call them albums, they call them bundles. I don't find it very romantic, but practicality is the order of the day with me now, and I'm back on track with it. But I did go through a phase where I was in danger of becoming one of those grumpy old men that said, by gum, it were much better in my day. But I didn't become that person, Vasilis.
No, it's not need to cry anyway.
It was close.
You know, tell me, talking about, I mean, you mentioned the word romantic.
Romantic, yes.
Are you romantic?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Okay. I'm an incurable romantic in every possible way.
How about food? What would you like? I mean, what kind of food?
I have a. Do you know, one of my favourite hobbies is discovering new genres of food. You know, it's like, I love Indian, I love Greek food, I love mezes, had one last night, absolutely superb. I like Chinese. Recently I discovered Burmese. Someone said, have you ever tried Burmese? Oh, I haven't. It's a new style of food. Number 444 Edgware Road, Mandalay. Absolutely brilliant.
Another check is coming, huh?
Yeah, another check.
Yes.
Another check.
Okay.
But, you know, there's the proof that I like my food.
Yes. If I ask you now for future plans, I mean, do you have any dreams that you haven't, you know, come across to and you want to fulfill any more dreams?
Oh yes, gosh, so many. I want to develop the concept of a chat con to a wider audience. That dream is starting to be fulfilled. The seed of that dream is there. I'd like to start a family. Of course, I would. Who wouldn't?
Oh, okay.
I haven't had time to do that.
Yes.
But I need to find some time to create a family of some sort.
So you were thinking only for yourself up to now? I mean,
no, not at all. Yeah, well, you know what? In a way, all my little projects are like each
like
project.
Kids.
It's like giving birth to a child anyway. And I'm a man, so that's quite tricky.
Yes.
But you know, I've just got to put time aside for that particular project, if you like. You know.
Tell me about this musical, the one you had last year at the New Players Theatre. You planning to produce this again?
Well, yeah, there has been some controversy because we wrote the thing called Blockbuster, and we had all the original stars involved, from Sweet, Susie Quattro, people like that. We had their endorsements, and we learned quite quickly, actually. There was controversy even on the first night. Somebody tried to stop us doing it, like nasty letters, nasty legal letters, but I won't say who from, but from a fairly massive organisation. And it transpires that somebody that we went to see with the original idea, it transpires that they're doing their own Blockbuster. Which is why initially we changed the title to Glambuster on what was a fairly poor representation of what happened in the West End. But again, it's that whole thing you mentioned about disappointments of, you know, you have a little cry, only with one eye, just wipe away the tear, dust yourself down. And start again. And start all over again.
Okay.
And do it even bigger and better.
Yes. Now, if you have in mind to ask people to, to advise people to watch something or listen to something.
Yes.
What is your advice?
Oh, sorry, something of...
On television or radio or whatever.
What would be my favourite thing?
Yes.
Okay, nothing intellectual. My favourite programme, it makes me laugh all the time, Third Rock from the Sun, which is a sci-fi with aliens who come down to Earth. But the characters tell you more about human nature than human beings themselves. Makes me laugh, you know.
Any other future plans, Mike?
Absolutely. I want to keep old-time music hall alive. This is my romantic thing, and I have a play that was on at Wimbledon Theatre called The Good Old Days, which followed the traditions of the East End, in the Victorian times, the lifestyle. I want to keep that alive. I continually campaign for places like Wilton's Music Hall, the New Players is another one, to keep these theatres alive and don't do what they did to the old Bull and Bush in Hampstead, turn it into something that looks halfway between a wine bar and a library. That's a great passion of mine. So I have been writing for Encore magazine. I'm now writing I have a column in Music Maker, which, I like to address some of these issues,
Yeah.
So that's one of my hobbies, really. It's just one of my passions, which, doesn't involve anything more than dedicating yourself to a bit of heritage,
Who was the most famous person you met and you were amazed of?
Possibly Ringo Starr, because that was through my children's television, children's ITV. Yeah. I was amazed at how normal he was. I was quite young and impressionable. The person that really made a big impression on me was Frankie Howard.
You wrote for him?
Yeah, and what a lovely man, what a lovely guy. The very first thing that I did for him was I wrote him a comedy song. And I went to a very, very posh recording studio in Camden, and the first thing he said when we got there was, oh no, I don't do stairs. And I thought, oh no, he's not going to go up the big flight of stairs to record the record. So I phoned up his agent, and who was my agent as well. Yeah. And we made a plan, and I got a piece of wire and I took it down the stairs with a microphone on the end with a mic stand. It wasn't plugged in. And I started to count him in. Okay, we'll do it from the street. 1, 2, 3. Suddenly, he did stairs. Oh, I do stairs now. Now, the strange thing was, he wasn't acting like a big star. Yeah. I found out what it was because I took him into another recording studio to record a monologue, and it was in somebody's council house, and there was a cat jumping all over him, and he was so at home that I thought sometimes we get these people wrong. They're not acting like big stars at all. They're like you and they're like me. They're nervous characters. They have the human touch. And when we got him into that other environment, he was such a lovely guy. He wasn't being a bad guy anyway. But the point was, I was in my 20s, and there he was, giving me an incredible break, you know. Yes. Once I'd written for Frankie Howard, I wrote for other comics like Jim Bowen and people like that. And that gave me a break, and I brought the comedy into my songs as well.
Mike, it was very nice and my pleasure to have you
in
the show.
It was absolutely brilliant meeting you, Vasilis, as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, κυρίες και κύριοι, Mike Bennett, very nice guy and famous guy here with us tonight. Από μένα λοιπόν και τον Mike Bennett, να έχετε μια πολύ όμορφη βραδιά και θα τα πούμε και πάλι την ερχόμενη εβδομάδα με ένα νέο πρόσωπο. Again with a new face next week. Good night.
Good night.